Chapter 1. Waking Up Late. Beep, beep, beep. The clock radio is constantly beeping. The sound is annoying the living soul out of the sleepyhead. The consistent sound doesn't stop, and finally, a middle aged man groans in his sleep. He opens his eyes wide and instantly closes them again. He is groggy and clearly doesn't like the disturbance. The man is fully clothed in rugged attire. He looks like he really needs to clean up, with his clothes dirty and his face indicating that he is about to face some serious consequences for what he was into last night. He clearly looks sick and barely has any strength to get out of bed. His right hand appears out of the dark blue blanket suddenly and puts it back on, shifting to the left side of his bed, away from the annoying clock radio. As a sudden thought crosses his mind, he turns it around and opens his eyes, and, with a hazy sight, looks towards the black nightstand. There it was, the annoying clock radio beside an old telephone. He looks at the clock radio to check the time. It reads 11:16 a.m. He blinks his eyes a couple of times and groans, "God, damn it!" He doesn't seem thrilled to see the time, but he closes his eyes again and turns to the other side of the bed. Covering his face with more blankets, all he wishes for is some extra hours of sleep, but his clock has some other plans. After getting annoyed for a few more minutes, his hand reaches out from under the blanket, and closing it in a fist, he hits the top of the clock radio. It's still beeping. Damn hits it again, this time more forcefully. Despite the force, it's still beeping the same. Damn hits it for the third time, irritated by the resistance of the clock radio. Contrary to what he had expected, the clock radio is beeping much louder now. In a state of sleep and sheer anger, he starts hitting the clock radio vigorously, multiple times. However, with every hit on its top, it starts getting louder and louder. Dam finally grabs it up from the nightstand and throws it to the ground towards one side of the room. He heard a shattering noise coming from the clash between the clock radio and the wall. The noise is momentary and has successfully silenced the beeping clock. Dam yawns as he takes off the blanket from his body. Sitting up on the bed, he feels his sore muscles hurting him more than before. He moves his legs to the side, and his feet finally touch the rug on the floor. The softness of the rug tickled his soul and relaxed his muscles there as he sits up on the side of the bed. As he looks down on the floor, he sees a brown boot. Slowly ascending his body down, his hand reaches the abandoned boot. Picking it up, he starts putting it on his left foot. He yawns once more as he stretches his body again. Once he had successfully put on the left boot, he searches for the right boot. He looks around the room in search for the other boot as his stomach growls. He wraps his hands around his clenching stomach and mutters to himself, "Oh, God!" He gets up from the side of the bed suddenly and dashes towards the washroom next to the right side of the bed. As soon as he reaches the washroom, he picks up the toilet seat and throws up inside it. Inside the toilet, a living room and kitchen are connected by a hallway in the middle. The living room's wall has a small, round, three-legged table. The table holds a picture of a happy, loving family. There's a quote below the picture that reads, "Wonderful people." There is a two-seated couch at one corner of the living room as well. The couch is usually vacant, however. Right now there is a young man is sleeping. The guy, without any clothes on, is sleeping with his mouth half open, like there is nothing to worry about in this world. The cell phone on the floor near the couch suddenly starts buzzing, and after a second or two, the sound of the alarm comes out of it. The guy sleeping peacefully on the couch hears the alarm, and his eyes open instantly. Picking up the phone, he looks at the lock screen. The time reads 7 a.m. He blinks a couple of times, trying to get rid of the last bits of sleep. The time changes to 7:01 a.m. and mutters sleepily, "Oh, geez!" He yawns and puts the back of his left hand over his mouth. "I'm late!" and stands up from the couch lazily and makes his way out of the living room. He walks towards the hallway on his right side as he yawns and stretches his arms and legs. He scratches his chest and the area around his testicles. He treads towards the end of the hallway, his cell phone dangling in his right hand. He takes a left and looks at the washroom door, only to find it wide open. Near the washroom door, on the right, a small table is placed, with a Bluetooth device on it, and stops by the table and turns on the device. He continues moving towards the washroom as he scratches his behind. As he reaches inside the washroom, he picks up the toilet seat and begins to pee while standing up. While peeing, his Bluetooth device beeps, indicating that it has connected to something, and looks up and closes his eyes to relax for a bit. He looks calm. Suddenly, and sneezes loudly, "Achoo!" When, and looks back down, a hand is holding the bottom right side of the toilet seat. Dam leans towards his side, as he rests his head on the left side of the toilet seat. He starts closing his eyes and tries to relax a bit. As soon as his eyes close and his muscles relax somewhat, the old telephone starts to ring. Dam opens his eyes again, looking disgruntled, his head still resting on his left side. Once the old telephone stops ringing, it goes straight to voicemail. Dam hears his static voice coming from the telephone saying, "This Dam reach. Nobody's here. Fuck off." Then he hears the beep of the answering machine. The voice coming out of it is the last voice he wants to hear in such miserable condition. Al's static voice comes out of the old telephone as he says, "Reach, it's me. You're supposed to come to work today for not being available to come the last couple of days. I know it's Saturday, and I know it's the happiest day of the week for everyone. However, if you don't show up today, by noon, I'll have no choice but to call the union and let you go for good." There was a short pause from the telephone. Dam thought it was over, and he can relax for a while, his head still resting on the side of the toilet seat as he closes his eyes again. Al starts speaking again, this time using a cautious yet reprimanding tone. "Okay. Look, you got till noon to get here. All you've got to do is drive a forklift around, write a report about the safety procedures about the international trucks, and train the new guy. So get up, get dressed, have brunch, and get over here. Capiche? See you then." With that note, the message ends. Dam opens his eyes and cleans his vomit off his mouth with his right hand. He wipes the vomit off the floor and gets up from where he was lying. Once on his toes, he drinks water from the tap on the washroom sink. He cleans his face with the towel hanging beside the sink. He looks at his face in the mirror for a while, his eyes lost. He seems to be in a deep thought. Out of the blue, a sudden wave of nausea hits him, and before he has time to process, the puke stains right in the middle of the mirror from Dam's mouth. He makes a sound as his stomach empties again.